What's good, everyone? Take Easy back here, giving you another wrestling review. Today we're going to do things a little different. I'm going to give you my top matches of May and June, but not necessarily in a particular order. I'm going to read everything I gave 3 3/4 stars and above for the month May and June. I got 14 matches here total, so let's run through them. First up, we got Sareee versus Syuri from Stardom, June 21st. I gave this match 3 3/4. This was another great match that I think was hurt by the first encounter being better. This was more of a typical epic that any company can have in the main event versus the hard-hitting affair that seemingly no one else on earth could reproduce from their first match. While this match wasn't really different in length from the first match, it felt much longer because it lacked that intensity that made the first one so special to me. This match was still terrific, and if it wasn't these two names on the marquee, I probably would rate it higher. Unfortunately, my expectations hindered my enjoyment of this, and I just thought it was really, really good instead of an epic great match. Next up, we have Desperado versus Jun Kasai from June 24th. This was Death Pain Invitational. This match was a bloody spectacle that had some insane moments. I didn't love this as much as the three-way from earlier this year, as I thought it had too many lulls and too many deathmatch tropes of just going spot to spot. But the big spots are some absolutely wild shit. I think you should check this one out if death matches are your thing. From Dragon Gate on June 4th, we have the Twin Gate champions of Kota, Minoura, and Jason Lee taking on the team of Not Hug, Naruki Doi, and Dragon Kid. This was only Z-Rat's second defense of the year, despite holding the titles for all of 2025. They faced off against Dragon Gate's 2024 Tag Team of the Year and Not Hug, where the two stalwarts of Paradox did what they always do and deliver. This was one of my favorite performances of the year for all four men. And our final 3 3/4 star match was from Dragon Gate Dead or Alive on May 5th, UT versus Homare for the vacant Open the Brave Gate Championship. Crowning moment of his career versus Homare's first big standout singles match on pay-per-view. I thought these two had a pretty fun competitive match, but ultimately it just came up short of being great. Moving on to the 4-star matches. First up, we have Bandido versus Mascara Dorada from CMLL on June 17th. This was the best match of AEW's week in Mexico. These two guys doing what they do best in front of a hot crowd. This is exactly what you want from wrestling. Next up, we have Slade versus Bronson from GCW show on June 8th. Fuck. This is really what I want out of deathmatch wrestling. Typically not my cup of tea, but when it is a spectacle that keeps you freaking out, it's great. Not two workers I ever imagined giving 4 stars, but the magic was in the air that night. Next up, we have Mercedes Mone versus Jamie Hayter in the Owen Hart Cup Tournament Finals from Double or Nothing on May 25th. Mercedes always seems to deliver against quality opponents now that the rust is gone, and Jamie met that criteria here. The finisher was an amazing botch that seemed to injure Jamie Hayter, unfortunately, but it would be an amazing finisher if Mone could pull it off safely. Next up, from Dragon Gate's Dead or Alive, we have the main event 6-way tag match from May 5th. This is everything you could want out of a Dead or Alive cage match. Fun action, wacky but not too wacky, big spots, big turns, lots of emotion, lots of great wrestling. And the final 4-star match of the list is Yota Tsuji versus Yuya Uemura from May 4th for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. New Japan's best 2 young homegrown talents clash in another chapter that will likely be a career-long rivalry. Alright, moving on to the 4 1/4 star matches. These are both from AEW's Double or Nothing on May 25th. First up, we had the main event that was Hangman Adam Page versus Will Ospreay from the Owen Hart Men's Tournament Finals. The big feel-good moment of the year for AEW. It was a little too epic-y for me to go above this rating, but an incredible match nonetheless. And the second match was my favorite match from Double or Nothing, which was Kazuchika Okada versus Speedball Mike Bailey for the AEW Continental Championship. Okada brought out a classic performance against an unexpected opponent here in Speedball. There were no lulls at all in this match, which is what really put it over the top as my favorite of the night. And finally, we got 3 4 1/4 star matches from May and June. These are all from Dragon Gate, so kicking us off, we have what was probably my favorite match of this period, which was from Dead or Alive on May 5th. The Triangle Gate Championships of Paradox defending against Natural Vibes. This was a classic Dragon Gate 6-man style match. This was my favorite match live when I was there. If you want a little bit longer of a review, you can check out the Dead or Alive review. Next up from May 5th was the Ho contra Ho match of Gold Class versus Natural Vibes. This was a very exciting lightning speed action kind of match where all 8 men delivered. And finally, the last match on the list was Yamato defending the Open the Dreamgate Championship against Masaki Mochizuki from June 4th. This is everything a main event should be. Mochi is still a timeless classic, while Yamato continues to prove why he is the ace. For this video, I decided to go a little bit shorter, because most of this list is Dragon Gate stuff that I've already done videos on. Nothing else really from the world of wrestling got me too excited. I'm not sure if my criteria is just getting a little stiffer, or if Q2 on the air just wasn't quite as good as Q1. I have watched all the notable stuff. Hiroki Goto versus Colin Newman, Anarchy in the Arena, Yo versus Vegeta, pretty much anything else you can name from the last year, 2-3 months. But nothing else I had above 3 3/4. I gave all those matches I just mentioned 3.5. Alright, thanks guys. Bye.